getting past the interview phase, right? And
Yes,
have you seen like the PM? Do PM come to you like for interview a little bit, or you have some context in that?
I think honestly, like PMs do come, but there's a lot of content which I posted on YouTube, which I think honestly should be sufficient. थोड़ा
इसने मेरे को पूरा कोर्स फ्री में दे दिया यार, मतलब मैं पूरा, और इसने मेरी तरह नहीं किया, मैंने भी किया, मैं भी दे रहा हूँ,
नहीं my tech
he structured it also. He said 10 videos on system design, 10 on this, 10 on this. फिर कौन देगा भाई तेरे को?
नहीं, मैं बेवकूफ ही हूँ. I have to now go and remove those. But there's
PMs are smart. They will figure out कि ये system design हो गया. इसके बाद क्यों इससे बात करनी है? और ये तो मैं ऐसे नहाते नहाते कर रहा हूँ. ये तो मैं कान में लगा के चला के, ये तो मेरे को convenience भी दे रहा है.
नहीं, एक चीज जो मैं सच कहूँगा, it's like from the PM context. Of course, this is information. It's not knowledge. So I cannot give you the way you want it. It is for a PM. It seems pretty unstructured. For the engineers, they go like, हाँ, सही तो कह रहा है. ये वाला एक के बाद एक आ रहा है. But normally for a PM, or normally even for someone who's who's not in the tech field, they feel like I'm going into too much depth. So there is that. So the best way to put it is, I don't have the expertise or the perspective of a PM. So I put information out there, but वो तो ChatGPT के पास भी है.
No, but I think the way you explain it and the way you contextualize it, that ChatGPT doesn't do for the people who don't understand engineering, right?
Right.
So you would start with like, I remember you had this video where you were explaining how a system gets down, and an unscaled system gets down, and one problem goes into three problems, and then you gave an example of a bull and a race of bulls walking through, and everything. So that, I don't think I remember those things, right? There are hooks in that, and that's what I think all, like, to be honest, right?
Folks, did you understand? How many of you are PMs? Okay. I see मेरे लोग बहुत कम है, but okay. How many of you understood what I was saying? Like 90-80%? Honestly? Okay, I see that. Okay. नहीं, मैंने देखा बहुत सारे हाथ नहीं गए. I will talk to them separately after class. नहीं, they raised their hand for PM and they said no. This is another problem with this is another problem with me. Instead of looking at the happy side, optimistic side, I go like, कैसे नहीं समझा? So I'm glad that most of you understood.
One thing I would love to know is that as more and more PM interviews are becoming technical, because what's happening in the industry is that everybody's saying anybody can code with tools like, let's say, Claude Code. Then we are saying कि भाई ये this PM we hired, and now we are done with strategy. We have written the PRD. We have 3 people in the team, and this PM comes and gives like these basic bugs, like the UI fix कर दो, ये fix कर दो, वो fix कर दो. अरे भाई ये तो तू कर ले. अभी तेरे को भी थोड़ा तो आगे engineering, right? So then they say कि our current PMs are not able to do it. So we want to open a new role for a technical PM. And in that interview, we will ask all the technical questions to make sure कि ये PM trains the other PMs and becomes the flag bearer of a engineer plus PM persona.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And in that world, what are your tips on what you think would be what it takes for these PMs who have never coded and maybe did like some kind of engineering and all, but like doesn't have the context of what like most, let's say they have no clue what GitHub is.
Right.
And now they have to go through a technical interview process. What's the path, and what are 2 or 3 suggestions you would ask me to do if I'm in that bucket?
One thing I would genuinely recommend is your knowledge of system design will help, because whether it is EMs or PMs, at a certain point, and even now, especially with coding becoming automated, they're generating code. A lot of the focus from the engineers has moved towards product side. That's why you said technical PM. So even the engineers are being told, "Bhai, what are you doing? What exactly is your work?" So they are moving towards more on the product side. And for that, what I would suggest is understand how these systems are plugging with each other. What are the kind of contracts that you need? And some basic AI literacy is good. For example, what is a vector? Okay, if you can answer what is a vector, it's good. If you can't, it's fine. Just look at some basic terms, how you can communicate not only with each other, but with the LLM also. That helps. That is sufficient for you to generate code which will run, and the rest of the things are always, things that you learn on the job or learn by doing. But if it is around education that you want, because I think a lot of you are interested in upskilling both your theory and your practice, the theory is very simple. Know the terms, know what they mean, the important ones, not every single term, not loop engineering or some shit. Just important terms, the basics. And the second thing is you knowing how different systems are connecting with each other. That's system design. Two things, that's it. For now, 2026, that's sufficient.
And second thing is second question I have is that it's very common for engineers, and I don't know, lost the context of Indian, now we are hiring people in India, so I'm getting back on that context, but engineering, software engineers in India, doesn't take this agency of solving the problem. They want this, Jira task, and then they will do the task, and then you keep on educating the world that, hey, this belongs to this, and this is world hunger, and then you solve world hunger. And forget about the task, you can create the task. No, give me the task, I did these 5 tasks. Is that changing? Or is it needs to change if we want to grow next generation of engineers, or we say this blended role of forward deployed engineers or all, is that needs to change? And what is Gaurav doing?
Gaurav, that's a very tough question. Second part I'll answer maybe in 3 or 4 weeks. But the first one is, it depends on the company also and the teams, whether they have been given enough agency, enough space to think. But yes, I agree with you. Engineers, as compared to product managers, may not be able to look at the...
Compared to other engineers,
in the US?
Yeah, in the US, when you go, I remember, when Facebook, when I was in Facebook, Lynn, who is CEO of Fireworks AI, she was our VP. And we were just sitting on, this is an intern dev. And she puts the strategy out, and a VP need to invite everybody in the team. You can't put strategy on 10 people that you like and then say this strategy is approved. She builds the strategy deck and she presents to all PyTorch people. And we are there, and we had a glimpse of it because she sent it last night. So, but this guy comes up and then he asks the question, and he's asking business questions to the VP, and then saying, hey, this strategy does not pan out in this. And I was like, yeah, dude, I missed it. You have it. Good. I learned something from you. And that's what it takes to build products which cuts through, and especially the engineering audience product, if you're building tools like Claude Code, I don't think PMs can write a Claude Code PI. We would just write even simplify it and make it a no-code tool, or make it a hardcore engineering tool. We won't be able to find that terminal-based tool which is not need a terminal. It's a very subtle thing which only an engineer could have come if he cared enough about the solving the problem and not doing the Jira tasks. So that, not comparing to product, but are we able to, what is the missing piece? And I'm facing this even now, I was an engineer, and I had this problem, so I always tried to do different, and I ended up becoming a PM that day eventually. But then I thought it's changed now because the whole world thinks differently, and now I hired people here, and then I'm getting into this oh Mahesh, give me this. I'm like, bhai, Jira task कौन बना के देगा तुझे? हम ना दे रहे कोई Jira task. ये ले problem, ये ले PID, तेरे से जो हो कर ले. अगर ना हो रहा तो कोई बात नहीं, हम दूसरा ढूंढ लेंगे.
So Mahesh, you have a startup. I have a startup. One of the things that we can do is the culture can change from here itself. We can tell them that नहीं यार Jira तो मैं नहीं बनाऊंगा. You do it, and once we give them the right direction, I think it will work out. Whether it is young or
changing, or is it just have it changed in last 10 years while you've been there? And I know that, to be honest, I you solve the problems. You don't teach tools. You solve problem solutions, right? And I like that approach in you. Is that changed a lot in last 10 years? And if not, then why not? And if yes, then why? Is this I just want to understand the...
let's take an example. There's a person in Facebook Bangalore or Google Bangalore, and they are asked a question. I don't think they'll say, "यार मेरे लिए Jira task बना के दो." Like that is going to irritate everybody. So we are looking at one of the very good companies in the US. You were in Facebook, now Meta. I'm expecting that similarly talented, smart people are there here who are also going to be taking ownership and agency. I can tell you about Uber. Uber, if a PM has to come and create a Jira ticket, like without you doing the Jira ticket, I won't work. Then it is either a political situation, like they are trying to.
That's like a fight war, like a beat.
Yeah, like you're trying to irritate the other person, or I will be surprised if a person says, "मैं तो Jira ticket नहीं बनाऊंगा."
So you are saying your sample set is wrong, Mahesh. Maybe when I worked for these big companies, then I should have looked at the people there, and I would not see a big difference because I'm not able to hire the people that work for Google, Facebook, Uber.
It's the same with me in my startup.
The problem, which is like maybe it's a talent finding problem, not a talent not existing problem.
It's like if I have a 10-person company, and if I set the culture, then I am the culture. I decide the culture. Like, there's no chance that they will learn something else. So if I tell them you will do exactly what I tell you, then see, okay, ठीक है, गौरव जो बोलता वही करेंगे. But if I give them ownership and I say कि भाई क्या लगता है ये चाहिए था, actually हमें ना चाहिए कि the rate of drop of users on the main page reduces, they will find 5 ideas. But if I tell them कि ये button तू ठीक कर, so then वो button ही ठीक करेगा फिर, and then habit भी हो जाएगा उसका. So it depends on us. You are the CEO of Agentic Institute.
तेरी कंपनी गंदी तूने करी है.
और वैसे भी मैं एक डेटा पॉइंट हूँ, मैं उतना क्वालिफाइड भी नहीं हूँ. अगर मैं
I agree with you. I think you're on point there. Okay, my last question, and then it's your turn.
Yes, of course. I have some loaded one, so let me put it in my pocket.
पहले भी ये बहुत बोल गया. So I think one question I have is, what would Gaurav do to use AI as a trainer to become a good engineer in like now 2026, given like your tool set you have, 3 things you would do to become a good engineer, and irrespective your background. If I'm listening to you today, what are those 3 things I should do to become a good engineer?
Okay, for an engineer, there's 2 things which are particularly important. One is learning new things, and the other is building things. So if there's anything that you're doing, that your instincts as an engineer have to be the same, making a system reliable and automating things. So if you see a part of your workflow which can be automated, that can be anything. It can be like whenever there's a bug, I go and fetch things from EC2, then I check the logs, then I go and find the actual source of the bug, then I write a test case, and then I fix it. With AI, you can automate part of this process, or at least with the human in the loop, you can make it much faster. So those instincts of I want to automate things is what you want to lean into. New things can be automated thanks to AI. Okay, that's one. Second is making things reliable. If I make a bridge, the bridge cannot fall. Even if someone tries to blow it up, there's going to be multiple points of failure. So when it comes to reliability, again, parts of it can be checked beforehand with AI. So that's what's happening. This is on the building side. In terms of learning, I think there's a ton of tools. Too many actually. Recommendations from various sources. But there I think Google News does a pretty good job to keep you up to date. So it's already like there. Unless you want, this is something I do because I'm a professional teacher. So मेरे लिए I have some sources, research papers, reputed organizations like Stanford, MIT, reputed organizations like Google, Meta. Their papers are going to be gone through, and I will just condense them, get a general news of what's happening in AI. So according to your use case, you can set it up, but this is some small things you can do. Yeah. Mahesh, let me flip the question. नहीं, मतलब as a PM, what are the things? So now there's a lot of pressure on engineers to both learn AI and to show impact.
Yeah.
Till 2024 or 25, there was a lot of things.
मैं Jira-ticket करता हूँ impact में, हाँ. मेरा impact मैं Jira-ticket करता हूँ.
Actually, they were like, okay, can this part be automated? Can you try doing this? A lot of POCs and a lot of like things which can be done, can we do it? Now it's turned into, can we make money out of it, or is it really working? So PMs usually have a much better instinct, not usually, almost always have a better instinct of, this is the business impact which will happen if you build this. How can an engineer get close to that? Because writing code is so much faster. How do they decide कि ये जो मैं लिख रहा हूँ इस तरह से लिखता हूँ, और ये जो मैं लिख रहा हूँ, let me write it as a POC, let me write this as a first iteration of a product?
No, I think as you pointed earlier, right? For engineers watching this, because when Gaurav got you in this call, I think always the job was to solve problems. Always the reward to solve problems is whatever the monetization path is, whether it's money, fame, or power, whatever comes to that. And you as an engineer, your job is to solve problems. And you should build a mental model of what is the largest, biggest problem. And if you don't have that, that's what PMs have. We don't have, like, to be honest, we just give you all the frameworks and confuse you enough that you can't catch up with us. But the idea is very simple. The idea is, are there problems, and which problem is worth what? You know how to solve problems, but can you list down the problems? And can you build a mental model of what problem is worth what? And now, worth what is the question that comes through consumers, customers, and your knowledge of how the world works. Now, consumer is the easy part, which your PM's friend will tell you that talk to customers, talk to customers, but the insights is always very different, and that depends on the second piece, which is your model of the world. Do you understand how the world works? And how close you are to the reality of how the world works defines what your stack ranking of those problems would be. And to be honest, taking those bets is how you will become a good PM or a good engineer. For an example, like when I was, and I've taken these bets all along my life, like to all of you who were PMs and engineers or PMs. I was in TCS, by the way, before all these big things happened. So now I don't put TCS, otherwise like Tata, right? वो ऐसे लोगों में Tata नहीं दिखा रहे. तो लेकिन I was at TCS and I was pretty good in the beginning, and I used to work 4 hours. उसमें थक जाते TCS के इंजीनियर ना, हम भी वही हैं. like खून तो वही हमारे अंदर तो वही कि अभी बहुत जीरा टिकट करती है. तो nobody tells you when you're part of TCS or Infosys that what problem you are solving. You are working on some outsourced product which went to some outsourcing company, then came to you, then came to your team, and then your top engineers took all the butter, and then if you started new, you get that last mile of last thing to last thing, which is Jira-ticket of a Jira-ticket. So I was like, okay, I'm solving for a Jira-ticket, this is my solutions, right? Then one time what happened is, they gave me this Jira-ticket of Jira-ticket, right? They gave me this job of asking everybody to fill their what used to happen, the timesheet or something.
Yeah.
You work everybody like that thing, which you go and everybody. And my job is not to fill the timesheet. My job is to go and ask everybody, have you filled the timesheet? Sir, madam, please timesheet Friday. So that my Friday is booked for that job. Mahesh job, make sure everybody's timesheet is filled so we can send. So I'm filling timesheets. So I'm like, my problem to solve is everybody fills timesheets. So I will go everywhere, check everybody, I send email, nobody responds. सबको फिर लगता है कि आएगा वो, उससे बातें करेंगे, थोड़ा मजाक करेंगे, थोड़ा उसका भी मजे लेंगे, तो वो आएगा तभी भरेंगे, हम क्यों भरे हम? तो सबने भी वो सेट कर लिया. But then I first time looked on that time sheet. One day I was just going through and कुछ काम नहीं था शाम को, पायल कहीं गई हुई थी भाई. तो अपना ये होता था बस जितना मिनिमम हो जाए उसके बाद पायल के पास जाना होता था. तो गर्लफ्रेंड राइट, पायल my wife. So,
now she's a wife, na? Thank God. Okay. Yeah.
पहले थोड़ी ना करेंगे. तो वो then I was like कि उस दिन पायल का कुछ हो गया, वो चली गई अम्बाला अपने पेरेंट्स के पास, अपने पास कोई काम नहीं रहा. तो मैंने देखा कि ये हो क्या रहा है. तो मैंने देखा कि अपनी सैलरी देखी मैंने 13,000 रुपए, उसको मल्टीप्लाई किया डॉलर से, पाउंड में चल रहा था काम. मैंने देखा कि यार ये तो एक दिन में बना रहे हैं इतना, मेरे पैसे एक बिलेबल रिसोर्स का तो 2-4 घंटे का इतना पैसा दे रहा है क्लाइंट. तो मैंने कहा ये क्या प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व कर रहे हैं और मैं क्या कर रहा हूं. एंड फ्रॉम देयर ऑनवर्ड्स आई जस्ट स्टार्टेड थिंकिंग कि अपने को यही चाहिए, ये आवरली रेट ये वाला चाहिए. दैट्स इट. सो सिंगल मैट्रिक्स एज ए इंजीनियर, what is the hourly rate I'm getting, and who is giving that. That's the matrix, and I've followed that matrix all along my life. Then I said, okay, who's paying this? Then they said, okay, people in UK get paid. Okay, then UK. Okay, then UK, what are they doing? Okay, this is what they're doing. Okay, what problem there's? Actually, they're building for some US client, which pays $1 million for this box if you write this code for $150 per hour billing. 1,150,000 again, like, इनका भी like सबके साथ ही पूरा हो रहा है इनके से यूके का भी कट रहा है like, ये यूएस क्यों नहीं जा रहे हैं फिर यूएस में जाके देख रहे तो बनाने वाले को कुछ पैसा ही नहीं मिल रहा है बताने वाले को पैसा मिल रहा है कि क्या बनाना है तो लाइक ये भी कोई बड़ी प्रॉब्लम तो होगी नहीं ऐसे कोई भगवान का अवतार तो है नहीं ये कि इन्होंने फिगर आउट कर रखा है कौन सी प्रॉब्लम है कौन से क्या बनाना है हम भी कर लेंगे हम भी पीएम बनेंगे तो फिर वी स्टार्टेड ऑन दैट पाथ so that is the iterations, right? And to be honest, right, PM is very hard job. One thing that PM doesn't get, like as an engineer, what you get to do is you have a lot of security all along because you have built the code and every transaction is different. And but as you get into a new company, everything you learned in past world is gone. Like you have your world model, but this thing, this new customer base, this how you make money here, all changes. And you have to start again. So, two things I will give you, three things to take away. One is figure out the hardest, biggest problems and what's problem is worth what. Have that stack. That will come from the second thing, which is build a world model, how the world works. And it's mostly wrong, by the way. Like the world, how it is taught to you, doesn't work that way. It's not like my parents told me, ki, some other thing. But and then TCS tells you this BS narrative that you are part of the family, and then like businesses are done to grow families and like have a social responsibility. World doesn't work like that. Nobody cares the shit like you're part of your family. When the rubber meets the road, you will be cut. It's just that the rubber never meets the road because 13,000 में रख रहे हैं भाई तुझे. तू तेरा कितने लेवल पे कट चुका है वो इतना खा चुके हैं अभी तेरा हिस्से का वो तेरे को पूरी जिंदगी भी पाल लेंगे अगर 1 साल रह लिया कोई प्रॉब्लम ही नहीं है उन्हें वो पहले ही काट के बैठे तुम्हारा 3 साल में तुम्हारा पूरा बजट काट के बैठे हो वर्ल्ड वर्क्स लाइक दिस दे आर द बिगेस्ट एक्सप्लॉइटर्स एट लाइक दे वोंट गिव यू इवन चांसेस दे आर लाइक वी गिव यू फ्लेक्सिबिलिटी वी विल मूव यू फ्रॉम वन किसको चाहिए फ्लेक्सिबिलिटी काम दो ना ढंग का कैन यू गिव मी दैट सो दैट इज द सेकंड पीस ऑफ दैट लाइक फिगर आउट हाउ द वर्ल्ड वर्क्स And that you figure out by actually building products and giving to people and asking them for money. And then increasing that money by adding more value. And then you will learn it. It's a simulation, like everything you learned in life came through that. So that is my long answer to your
I think very, very good points.
Output tokens should be free.
No, I really like stack ordered. I'll be honest with you. Maybe other engineers think like this, but I didn't. Look at the problems of the world, stack order them. That's not something I think of. भाई ये काम करना है कर लेते हैं ठीक है.
ना बिल्कुल नहीं करना भाई. हमारा ये और दूसरा the world works very differently.
That's another thing that you mentioned, which is the world models, which I was talking about in a technical way कि world model होता है लेकिन real like अच्छा मैं ये दुकान खोल दूंगा तो इतना पैसा आ जाएगा. No, it's not exactly fitting. So the world will work in this way. You're right. I think that's one of the reasons why LLMs.
एग्जांपल है वहाँ पे राइट तो मैं TCS नहीं हूँ राइट हम लोग एरोफ्लिक्स के लिए काम कर रहे हैं हम लोग बेस स्टेशन बनाते हैं नेटवर्क का स्टैक है सबसे बंदा जिसकी मानी जा रही है लाइक जिसके लिए सब जितना भी वो फेम ग्लोरी पावर किसके पास है ये है एक आर्किटेक्ट के पास उसका नाम रख दिया है आर्किटेक्ट सारे इंजीनियर्स को क्या बनना है आर्किटेक्ट बनना है बड़ा होकर क्या बनना है आर्किटेक्ट बनना है आर्किटेक्ट करता क्या है आर्किटेक्ट वहाँ माइक थॉप से बात करता है माइक थॉप जो बोलता है वो यहाँ आके करवा लेता है उनसे तो आर्किटेक्ट नहीं है एक मैनेजर आदमी है उसने अपना नाम रख लिया आर्किटेक्ट इसमें सबसे घटिया रोल क्या है इसके बीच में आर्किटेक्ट है फिर इंजीनियर्स हैं ये पिरामिड है लाइक यहाँ पे टॉप फनल पे ये खेल रहे हैं फिर यहाँ पे ये हैं इंजीनियर्स और सबसे गंदा कौन है सबसे गंदा है ये एफई फॉरवर्ड इंजीनियर कुछ ऐसा नाम था उसका काम था कि रिलायंस पे बात करे और रिलायंस के दर्द दूर करे वो कोई काम नहीं करना चाहता
लगता है फॉरवर्ड डिप्लॉयड इंजीनियर भी आ रहे हैं
नहीं वो कोई नहीं करना चाहता वो लोएस्ट है कि इसको कुछ नहीं आता है ये कस्टमर के साथ जाके उनकी मसाज करता है ये इसका काम फुल टाइम जॉब है तो लाइक हियरार्की में ये है राइट कि ये कस्टमर का दर्द देखेगा इसको कुछ लेना देना नहीं इसको ये कोई नहीं बनना चाहता है तो जो टॉप रैंक है उसको यहाँ पे पुश कर रहे हैं तो मेरे को पुश कर रहे हैं कि ये तो आर्किटेक्ट बनेगा तो मेरा एक मैनेजर था समीर भाटिया, बड़े अच्छे थे वो, उन्होंने शुरू में बहुत ध्यान रखा मेरा, मैं नया था, वो मेरा बहुत ध्यान रखते थे। तो वो चले गए, फ्लेक्सट्रॉनिक्स नाम की कंपनी थी, अभी है क्या, एक कंपनी थी फ्लेक्सट्रॉनिक्स करके, वो ऐसे बहुत बहुत कूल बनती थी वो, तो वहाँ चले गए, उनकी सैलरी भी बढ़ गई। तो उन्होंने कहा तू आजा, तेरे को आर्किटेक्ट बनाएंगे। मैं वही वर्ल्ड मॉडल तो यही हमने तो यही सीखा है आके, मैं आर्किटेक्ट भी बन जाएगा तू और बड़ी कंपनी में भी चला जाएगा, टीसीएस भी। फिर मेरे को दूसरा था कि यार तू ना फॉरवर्ड डिप्लॉयड ये बन जा, एफई बन जा। तो मैंने फॉर रोल ले लिया और सबका ये हो रहा है कि महेश कैसे फॉरवर्ड, ये कैसे क्या कर दिया इसने, ये कैसे हो रहा है। आई जस्ट वॉन्टेड टू अंडरस्टैंड कि ये रिलायंस को बेच कर रहे हैं ये, क्योंकि यहां से वहां क्वालकॉम को भी बेच रहे हैं। और क्वालकॉम का धंधा अगर तेरे को समझ आ गया तो बाप तो सबका क्वालकॉम ही है, राइट। क्वालकॉम यूके भेज रहा है बिल मिलियन का कट के 100 के टीसीएस को मिल रहा है, और 100 के डॉलर को रुपये में कन्वर्ट करके तेरे पास आ रहा है। तो क्वालकॉम कौन जाता है, क्वालकॉम तो ये जाता है फॉरवर्ड एफई। तो मैंने एफई रोल ले लिया, मेरे को एफई लिया, माइक थॉर्प इंडिया आया, माइक थॉर्प को हमने दिखाया विजन बना के कि अरे ऐसे ऐसे ये होता है भाई। और हम कौन है, लोएस्ट। माइक थॉर्प किससे मिलेगा, जो कस्टमर जानते हैं। आर्किटेक्ट से माइक थॉर्प रोज ही बात कर रहा है, उससे क्या लेना, वो तो उसको 10 मिल रहे हैं, टीसीएस के पास 10 पड़े आर्किटेक्ट। एफई के पास रिलायंस की इनसाइट्स है, जो क्वालकॉम की इनसाइट्स है, तो उसको वो हमने प्रेजेंट किया। तो वो बोला ये लड़का तो हमें यूके में चाहिए ट्रेनिंग के लिए और फिर यूएस में चाहिए, ये तो क्वालकॉम कन्वर्ट कर लेगा। और क्वालकॉम उनसे क्रैक नहीं हो रहा है वहां पे, क्योंकि वो तो छोटे हैं और बड़े उस दुनिया में एजिलेंट हैं, रॉडिंग शॉट्स हैं और एरोफ्लेक्स वाना भी है। तो उसने बोला इनको, हमारे मैनेजर्स को, कि भाई इस लड़के को भेजो, यहाँ तो लाइन लग रही है हमसे पहले कि हमारे तो हमने फ्लैट लिया है, उसकी किस्त आ रही है इसलिए हमें जाना है। तो वो एक रीजनिंग होती थी कि हमें ऑन साइट जाना है, राइट, वो एक वर्ड था। तो देन यू गो टू, देन टीसीएस लीडर सेट, मैंने कहा यार हमारे पास पासपोर्ट नहीं है सर, वो सब तो ठीक है, जाना तो है लेकिन हमने इंडिया में रहना है, हमें क्वालकॉम से बात करनी है लेकिन इंडिया में रहना है। तो दे वर लाइक नहीं भाई, अभी माइक थॉर्प ने बोला तू जाएगा। तो देन आई वेंट टू क्वालकॉम। देन क्वालकॉम में समझ आया कि क्वालकॉम भी किसी एप्पल और माइक्रोसॉफ्ट की सेवा में बना दिया पैसा। तो वो समझ आया कि यार ये है
इंटेंस मसाज है वो।
हाँ, मतलब ये अलग टिश्यू लेवल दे रहे हैं। तो ये अलग चल रहा है कि इनके पास कोई पेटेंट है, या तो पेटेंट वाली कंपनी बनाओ, पैसा बनाना है तो, या फिर तुम माइक्रोसॉफ्ट गूगल बनो। उनके पास है एज कि उन्हें पता है कि नेक्स्ट वो लेते हैं बड़ी बेट्स। क्वालकॉम कोई बेट नहीं लेता, क्वालकॉम की एक चिप है, उस पे इनके पास आईपी है, ये उसे छापते हैं बस।
The best part is if you're working currently in TCS or Qualcomm, you must be enjoying this talk right now. नहीं?
So then that's what I was saying, that you know, keep changing your world model and try to see who is paying you and paying you for what. And that is the simplest equation for. And by the way, engineers are really good at it. But you apply it to those, what your manager tells you. Your world model is follow the trail of money. Like that, I think the biggest learning I had in my career was that timesheet thing. समीर भाटिया ने कुछ नहीं सिखाया मेरे को, वो आर्किटेक्ट बनवा के मेरे को कहीं फ्लेक्सट्रॉनिक्स में बर्बाद कर देते। मैं अभी पूरा बन चुका हूँ, अभी अपने को सब समझ आता है। अपने को पता है कि कौन क्या कर रहा है, अपने को एंथ्रोपिक बुलाती है पूछने के लिए कि भाई क्या करें। तो हम बताते कि नहीं हो पाएगा तुमसे।
आप पीएम लोग इतने पॉजिटिव कैसे होते हो हमेशा? मेरा बेस्ट फ्रेंड जो है वो भी बहुत ही,
अरे इसी का पैसा मिलता है हमें।
I did not find it funny. This is tears actually that I'm somehow trying to control. Yes, but it's okay. But this
but
is.
I think जो इंजीनियर्स का भी that I think PMs को बहुत हल्के में लेते हैं। लाइक क्वालकॉम में, फेसबुक में PMs को कोई नहीं पूछता है। आई वाज देयर, आएगा तुम्हारे पास इंजीनियर, मोस्टली इंडियन और चाइनीज इंजीनियर आएगा तुम्हारे पास और आके बोलेगा कि महेश, what ideas you have for me? Where should I spend my time? And then I was like, here are 2, 3, but I'm not sure. He's saying, no problem, Mahesh. 3 ideas, give me one, and I will build it in 6 weeks. And you get me first 10 customers. You think 10 customers? If it doesn't work, I will give you second idea also. I will work for you. Third idea also, I will work for you. But if it doesn't work, then I will find another team. Okay? So the power is with the tier, tech lead. The power is who can build. The power ideas everybody have. And if you give them good ideas, they will build it. And once it is successful, they want you to write a post saying he built it, and then he will write a post about this was problem, this is solution, and then write in the end they will say thanks to Mahesh, he gave a lot of ideas, this was one of them, but I actually launched this, right? And they take all the credit there also, right? So that what you learn now, I'm learning this like maybe the path to PM. If you wanted, you needed to have both. Like you want to be the tech lead who has the power to evaluate 3 PM's idea and invest in the best. And that's what I want all engineers to become, or all PMs to become that engineer now. That you can evaluate and also build it and claim the whole post. No?
Right. The other question I had, which is quite similar to this, is if you have a lot of these products which are being built right now are even closer to PMs than they were earlier, because you're literally talking to a model which requires instructions. So these instructions are not exact, they are like guidelines or suggestions. So in future, are you seeing PMs coming closer and closer to the tech side? Like the first question was like, okay, how do technical people have a PM world model, like a PM mindset slightly? I think it'll help. But do you think the PMs are also coming close to the tech side with AI coming up?
I think they should, but at the same time, I don't want them to. Again, right, the world changes every day. What is needed yesterday doesn't make sense today. And I want somebody in the team to focus on that part, which is what does customer want, what will work. And yes, you can build the first prototype. Yes, you can try 10 things with the customer. Yes, you can be forward deployed engineer, but don't lose the muscle of what needs to be built and how can you price it. And how can you sustain that price and increase that price. And I'm not sure, unless you put dedicated iteration on that, it's such an easy problem to solve. It's the hardest problem in the new world.
Yeah.
When everybody build anything, what is the thing that you will pay for? And if once you start paying, how can Anthropic not eat it? Or Gaurav can't eat it because
Gaurav, Anthropic are very similar in terms of size and capability. Yes, I agree with you.
Yeah, so I don't think like PMs will become like engineers. I don't want them to, but they will be deadly, very deadly now. Because earlier, right, if a PM, an eng gave you a timeline which does not make sense, you have no weapon. But now you can say, you know what? I'm gonna stop everything on customer side and I'm gonna build this. And go to their manager and say, I did the check-in and I did it in 2 days. Your guy, whose job is supposed to be this, is asking 2 days. How in the world that can be true? That's their full-time job. If they are not able to beat me, I think we need to rethink our engineering practices. And now you have you always wanted to challenge that, but now you have enough weapons to go and prove it. And I want you to be that deadly. But once you have proven that, come back to your customers, right? I think what you offer to the world is gonna be far important. Even if you have technical skills, don't lose it's very hard to figure out now, like, what will make money, right? Even Salesforce doesn't know. Even like OpenAI is kind of lost at this point, right? So has Gemini. Like, nobody has a clue. So as those companies in China, which we were trying to praise, maybe we are better. Maybe at least हमने अभी इलेक्ट्रिसिटी और पानी तो बचा के रखा है, बाद में काम आएगा. अभी इनको मरने देते, फ्री के मॉडल बनाने देते, बाद में जब पानी की लड़ाई होगी तो हम कहेंगे कि ये तो हमारे पास था, हमने दिया नहीं किसी को. So I think that way, just like figuring it out is also very hard, and it's very hard in AI. So I don't see I don't want my PMs to become engineers, but at the same time, I don't want them to not challenge engineering with the kind of muscle they can build. So be ready as engineers to be challenged, but don't think engineers are coming, PMs are coming for your role because they have a better world model at this point. And they see that spending a week solving a container that's not building is not worth their time. They will figure out better way to read a book and then sell that idea to someone to get 30% increment. next week.
Thank you, Mahesh. That was not at all degrading at all. I mean, I found it very.
But at the same time, like you have.
If you're watching this, his YouTube channel is there and comments are open, so you can just put forward your views.
By the way, he doesn't have views in the beginning, anyways. Now nobody will come there.
This is the first AI project you can try. How to add a comment without you being there and without guardrails. But yes. Cool.
I don't think having Gaurav is going to help us. I thought I will build into this new revenue stream of engineers and then we will get into this engineering persona, but not going very well.
No, it's going so well. But folks, any thoughts, any general questions,
Do you have any questions?
technical questions?
Open for questions for all of you. Just point to the name and we will answer. And
Sorry.
Feel free to chime in on questions.
Yes. I will just come like this and then.
I don't think we let him ask the last time when I was in this case.
Yes.
And he is about to leave, so.
Oh yes, of course.
So किस तरह रोक ले इसे?
हाँ. Flight में jump.
So one thing is in India, I have been in the cloud era. I've been in the cloud era. I've been in the mobile era. We all built a lot of things. We are in our cloud product itself. A lot of us built those times. We built mobile apps and different things and things. But when you look at the AI era, except how they talk about, I think Mahesh tried to build something that didn't take off. We don't have anything really much. We all are becoming consumers of AI, ChatGPTs and Claude is typically saying, hey, I'll charge you $20, you pay me $20, else you can't. Or the other thing is, or you now pay, are you India version? You pay 2,000 rupees, 2,300 rupees or 2,000 rupees and pay, right? Which actually looks very, it doesn't look nice. And I heard you talk about it. When I see your experience, Mahesh, you seem to have an experience with multiple things. How can someone build a startup? Someone wants to build a startup, maybe build models, maybe build something new. That is one. Second is from a software engineering perspective. How do someone build a coding agent, right? You can build a coding agent that can be sold to enterprises. You don't need to use Claude, but it can help with everything. People want to build harnesses which are based on Claude, which can be hierarchical. People are thinking everything beautiful. I had some nice sessions, but no one is thinking, can I build a small coding agent which can be used, like what you said, you put the wiki very beautifully, right? The same way, how can someone think of building a beautiful coding agent, which can be just Python, right? It need not do every language in the world. Just Python, just Golang, or just Java, right? It need not do every language in the world. And the thing what I see is it's a structured language. The code compiler, because I used to work, I learned some of them. They are structured. There's nothing. Is there any possibility? I don't know. This may be a wild question. The product manager will say, hey, this is not a point for me. I work with product. I'm engineering guy. Work with product managers. This is not a good problem to talk. This is impossible. This is.
No, it's a good question. It's interesting. But I would.
मंगाया तो आज तुम कुछ भी करो नाचना पड़ेगा मैं आज तो कुछ भी बनाऊं.
I don't know. I understand much Hindi or something.
Oh yes,
Of course.
he's like Mahesh. You have been useless to us all along.
Hindi mix karo.
No, I will answer in English. Abhi, I learned enough. So, couple of things, right? One is what's different in the mobile to cloud to AI era. I think the one thing that has surprised me, which I never prepared for, to be honest, which was how much pressure of AI from top to bottom. That never happened. When we were selling cloud, it was like IT teams and like making it convincing and bottom up and takes like 10-year cycles. Here it's just like forcing function. You have to use it, right? There's no way you can avoid it. So just I think the adoption cycle of AI is very different. So that's one. Just remember that.
Yeah.
Now the second question is very interesting, which is like, what should we do sitting here about AI and like innovating with latest greatest AI? What can we do? So I think there is disadvantage and disadvantages. Like I had a disadvantage when I joined TCS that I can never become architect or go on site. Let's say I wanted to go on site because there was a long line and there is a hierarchy to this and who cares about this guy who just joined. So I hacked it with the FE route. Right? So there's an advantage, disadvantage, and then you have to play to your advantages and figure out a way to cover your disadvantages. Right? So let's play that game. So what is the disadvantage you have if you're sitting in India? You don't have research talent, you can't build the models, you can't compete. Even if it's a Hindi language model, nobody's willing to pay you the kind of tokens, per watt. Economics won't make sense for a Hindi model if you build that. So let's say that's disadvantage and you can't play the game of that. The second is where a lot of companies have made money and make business. Like if you look at all the company that made businesses, the proposition is, hey, we will make it more performant, which will increase some role by 30%, developer, lawyer, engineer, take any role and I will make it 30% proper. And then I have an AI native company which does that. And then you can go vertically. I do it for lawyers, I do it for plumbers, I do it for doctors, and you have a business. That doesn't work for us also. Why? Because your first customers won't be US customers, because your first model or first agent will be shit and nobody cares. So your first customers will be in US, India, and India has everything for free, right? If I want a lawyer, I can get it for $500 for a month. What is that optimization? So you can't play the vertical agent role either. And then there is then what is left? Where should we build? And I think one advantage, what perceived notion we have given to the world as India or the Indians economy or Indian problem solver is that we take a task and we land the task. We don't say how many engineers did it. We have 5 engineers working in a bench or some bag, and we have this pretty face which talks to customer, but then these people do the work, right? Nobody bothered about that, right?
The pretty face is Mahesh, by the way, in case you were not getting it. Yeah. You put the ugly engineers behind. This is like me.
He has good timing. Right? So then that's where I think we missed or we are missing out. So what you need to do, or what advantage we have, is people see us as task takers, not engineers, not architects, not product managers, not the geniuses like Steve Jobs, but they see us as task takers. And this is the first time getting the task done, there is economics benefit of that. There is a skill to that. So why can't we build this idea of alternative X service providers? So there is this idea of alternative legal service providers, ALSPs. US companies become ALSPs, take everything the lawyer does, the crap work of a lawyer, take that work and then ship it to India. This is the first time you can say that we are the ALSP, we can take all that work and do it for you. And don't talk coding agent, don't talk Anthropic, don't talk anything. Cut the rates of any US company which is trying to provide services and take the whole job. And then open businesses saying, I am taking this role that you have here in US, which is the job of this guy who is making sure account payables are done because they have this NetSuite and they enter it and they extract it. And this whole idea of getting paid. So now your company is revenue ops. It's an Indian startup. And what it does is, as soon as you sign a contract, it lands in my email and you will always get paid on time. And we will make sure that we will deduct anything that is in the contract which is not delivered bad. And you will pay us for reduction in the time you got paid and the money we saved you by not paying for something that they have faulted for. That's it. Can we take those problems and can we offer one solution to that? And behind the scenes, we can scale first with humans because that's our advantage. क्योंकि 500 में lawyers की लाइन लगा दे भाई तू यहाँ पे agents छोड़ एक के बाद एक 4 लगा एक की जरूरत है तो 3 चेक लगा और फिर उनको रिमूव कर ले तेरी our unit economics should come from taking the big problem, solving it, and our funding should fund humans first, and then we become profitable by replacing these humans with cheap AI agents which China built. No? So can we take that and can we build it? That I think is the I want to see more of from India. We go with the same race. We say we will build models, we will build vertical agents, we'll go compete best of luck, right? But I think taking that end-to-end in AI era has a premium which companies will get paid. Like Palantir became bigger than TCS. How? What is forward deployed engineer? It's the same guy who TCS sent to Qualcomm. Why तू यहाँ सीख गया? Like you learned all this stack. Go to the customer, make it work for the customer, configure it for the customer, and make sure they are happy. TCS has that muscle. Infi has that muscle. But they went with, oh, we are building our own agents. किसने बोला तुम्हें एजेंट बनाने के लिए? तुम फॉरवर्ड डिप्लॉयड इंजीनियर बोलते भाई. तुम बोलते कि एंथ्रोपिक need anything anthropic OpenAI need to be deployed in enterprise. We are going to solve that. And we will solve it end to end. And you need to pay the same amount that you were paying before. But you went into your weakness. Don't play. This is the game. We play that again and again. Like this. Okay, I will stop here. Otherwise, I have another example. Then I go into another round of this. But did I answer your question, by the way? Almost.
You sort of answered the question, but in SaaS era itself, people have tried this, and there are a lot of companies which are doing.
But SaaS, you never had the advantage of human intelligence, right? No. SaaS was a software play, right? The SaaS was, the sales cycle is what SaaS is. SaaS is not a human intelligence problem. SaaS is a sales cycle problem. You figure out a software, you figure out a niche in real estate, how to do accounting. It's a SaaS. You said, oh, it is, a SAP can't do it. Neither is Oracle NetSuite. I will build a SaaS just for real estate. I will call it ERD, and I will charge people because I build a common area management and I build leasing and these 3 modules. Which are this? Now your USP is not building those. Your USP is finding that gap, first of all, which is only exists in US and in like developed economics. And then you have this second challenge that it's a sales motion. SaaS is a sales product. Who can sell? Anybody can copy that. Once Yardi build it, anybody can copy the model. But Yardi is selling the whole 80% of the company is the sales team. 20% is engineering. SaaS is that way. If you look at any SaaS company, you open their books and say how many engineers, how many sales. It's a sales-driven stuff. So you can't come. But this is the first time intelligence is commoditized. And you have free intelligence. Humans. Yet we are using your humans to annotate and build models. What are you folks doing? Like, why can't you just take the problem